The first thing you need to know for domain and range is about interval notation, and that's all to do with brackets. So square brackets, they mean included. Round brackets mean not included. So they have the same function as your greater than and equal to and less than and equal to and your greater than and less than signs. So when you're doing set notation, so if you're given a -3 to 2, okay, that could be rewritten using the same signs over here, but it basically means you're going from 3, including it because of the square bracket, all the way to +2, from -3, sorry, including it all the way to -2, but not all the way to +2, but not actually ever getting there. Alright, so that's what that means. That's interval notation. The first exercise actually asks you to do that in terms of a number line. So what that basically means you need to do is use dots. So closed dots, I'll go back up here and write them, and open dots are what you're dealing with here. So on a number line from -3, 0, there's 2, we're going to include -3 and we're going to go to 2. So that would be the diagram for that. If we go further into the exercise, it talks about converting from things like this into set notation like this guy here. So same process. If it's an equal to sign, you're using a square bracket, -4, and we're going to 2 and it's not equal to, so it's a circular bracket. That's just how easy it is. The stuff that we've learned prior about the other symbols exclusions and inclusions start to get a bit messy, and I quite often joke with my students about it's included in your exclusion, so therefore you can't include it in your actual one. But what it actually means, if this is an excluded, so that's what that symbol means, if we're excluding from R -4 to 2, what that would look like on a number line is we're going to come from this direction to -4, and we can't be -4 because we're including that in the section we're not allowed to have. And then we're going to go to 2, and then 0 will be there, and we're able to include 2 in our diagram because it's not included in our exclusion zone. So when it's talking about domain and range, domain is your x values, so what x values you can possibly be, and range is your y values, so what y values you can be. So when you're looking at domain and range for a graph, so for example we're looking at 8a here out of your textbook, that's -3 and that's 2. What x values can you be? Right? So domain is going to be any real number, because you can be anything along the x-axis. Okay, your range is also going to be a real number because you can be anything along the y-axis. It gets a bit trickier for some other questions, okay, and you need to use your brain to figure out what your range is going to be, or you need not so much your brain as the rule. Okay, so if we have a look at question 9b, okay, we've got xy, y equals x cubed plus 1, where x is an element of -2 to 2. Ooh. Okay, so from that we can already say the domain, because x has got to be between -2 and 2, so our domain is -2, 2. But how do we work out what our range is going to be? The easiest way to do that is to sub your lowest value and your highest value into your equation. So if we actually do that, if we say, well, if y equals x cubed plus 1, and if we say x is -2, so y equals -2 cubed plus 1, -8 plus 1, -7. So that should be our lowest point of the y values. Now if we substitute the 2 in, so y equals x cubed plus 1, y equals 2 cubed plus 1, y equals 8 plus 1, y equals 9. So our range should be between -7 and 9, and it's going to include these because they're included back here. So because we included that x value, it can actually be this y value, so we make sure we include them in that there.